who's also the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party for the upcoming December 7 election. Your Excellency, the people are listening.
Thank you very, very much. Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the founding CEO of the CEO Network, Mr. Ernest de Graaf Ejiro, members of the CEO Network, captains of industry, distinguished members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here among so many innovative and dynamic minds and to address the chief drivers of our country's real engine of growth, the private sector. Mr. Ernest de Graaf Ejiro and team, thank you for the invitation and for building a network of business leaders. As the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party in the upcoming December 2024 elections, just 4 weeks away, I have traveled across several cities, towns, and villages to seek the mandate of the people in whom ultimate sovereignty of this great nation resides. I have seen and heard from Ghanaians, from diverse groupings and persuasions, women, men, young people, the aged, professors, professionals, non-professionals, Kayaye, who are the head porters, the unemployed, and several equally important groups. As CEOs, I believe you have engaged different constituents. It is in this spirit that I have looked forward to the maiden edition of the Presidential Manifesto Gala, themed Reigniting the Business Economy, a manifesto for innovation, accountability, and sustainable development, as an important opportunity to share ideas that will benefit our people. I must say, this theme is in line with the content of the 2024 manifesto of the New Patriotic Party, which is titled Selfless Leadership, Bold Solutions for Jobs and Business. Ladies and gentlemen, as a distinguished group of Ghanaians, CEOs, your contributions can elevate Ghana's political discourse from sheer rhetoric and disingenuous manipulation of information to real issue-based civic discourse. This is what I have championed over the years, a focus on issue-based and data-backed public conversations. One such topic is how to reignite the business economy of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may all be aware, Bawumia means business. From being a banker to vice president to presidential candidate of the MPP, my commitment to business development has been consistent. The reason is simple. When businesses do well, the economy does well, and vice versa. Show me a buoyant national economy in any part of the world, and I'll show you strong and resilient businesses behind it. Indeed, as many of you are fully aware, the Ghanaian economy and subsequently many Ghanaian businesses have suffered from the malaise of the recent global economic crisis, the worst crisis the world has seen since 1933. Our inflation rate rose to as high as 54% in 2022, with attendant currency depreciation. Our debt levels also increased significantly. I would like to take this opportunity to show gratitude to the Ghanaian people, especially the business community and bondholders, for the sacrifices you all made in supporting government's efforts to restructure our debts and safeguard the economy. However, the good news is that the Ghanaian economy is recovering. The Ghanaian economy expanded by 4.8% in Q1 and 6.9% in Q2 of 2024, the highest quarterly GDP growth in the past 5 years. Non-oil GDP growth was equally strong, with a growth rate of 5.6% in the first half of 2024, far higher than the 3.8% growth rate in the first half of 2023. The industry sector experienced an average growth of 8% in the first half of 2024. The agriculture and service sectors also expanded by 5% and 4.4% respectively in the first half of 2024. It is important to note, ladies and gentlemen, that notwithstanding the impact of the global economic crisis on our economy, it may come as a shock to some that when it comes to the Fourth Republic, my opponent in this election, my main opponent, the former president, has the worst economic performance of all presidents in the Fourth Republic. However, he does not seem to understand that and continues to talk about economic performance as if his was better. The data shows that virtually in all sectors of the economy, jobs created, gross international reserves, primary balance, trade balance, GDP, agricultural growth, industry growth, our government, notwithstanding the global crisis, COVID and all, even in the midst of the global crisis, has outperformed the Mahama government. Our government has created 2.6 million jobs between 2017 and 2024, notwithstanding the global crisis. And this is the highest job creation of any government in the Fourth Republic. Gross international reserves increased from an average of 5.8 billion in his period to an average of 7.6 billion between 2017 and 2023. And our primary balance compared to GDP averaged 1.31% over the period of 2013 to 2016 when he was president, compared to 0.79% between 2017 and 2023. Ghana's trade balance, that is the difference between our exports and imports, prior to 2017 was in persistent deficit for the best part of 30 years. And between 2013 and 2016, the trade deficit averaged $2.5 billion. As this has improved significantly to a surplus that has averaged almost $1.9 billion between 2017 and 2023. On GDP growth, it is worth noting that between 2013 and 2016, Ghana's GDP growth averaged 3.9%. During our first term, this 2017 to 2020, GDP growth increased to an average of 5.3%. Following COVID and the global shutdown, Ghana's GDP growth has declined to an average of 4.74% between 2017 and 2023. So our post-COVID growth rate is still higher than the growth rate he left us with without a global crisis. Agricultural GDP growth increased from an average of 2.9% between 2013 and 2016 to an average of 4.5% between 2017 and 2023. And I must just add that Ghana in the whole of Africa now is the third highest secure country on the continent in terms of food security. South Africa is first, Kenya is second, Ghana is third. And that means we must be doing something right in the agricultural sector. Industrial growth also followed a similar trend. After averaging 3.3% between 2013 and 2016, it has increased to an average of 4.12% between 2017 and 2023. In addition to outperforming the Mahama government in almost all these areas of the economy, our government has equally implemented more social interventions like free senior high school and free TVET. We have delivered more infrastructure, roads, railway, hospitals, schools, sports facilities, sanitation facilities, courts, fish landing sites, and so on across the country, notwithstanding the challenges the economy inherited and the global economic crisis that ensued. We have also digitalized the economy through various initiatives and implemented initiatives like the Ghana card and mobile money interoperability. What all analysts from the IMF to the rating agencies agree on is that the Ghanaian economy will grow even faster next year. In fact, S&P puts its growth forecast for the Ghanaian economy in 2025 at an impressive 5.4%. I am even more optimistic that it is possible for us to hit 6% next year. If with your vote, we are able to implement the business-friendly initiatives which I have outlined in the MPP manifesto, some of which I will highlight this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ghanaian economy has seen significant progress on several fronts, but we still have challenges. Many of you CEOs, especially those of you who do business outside Ghana, will know that the challenges we face are common in or to our sub-regional peers and even throughout the global economy. More than ever, there is a need for continuous innovation if we are to triumph for the challenges that we face as a country. This is why I am proposing to upgrade Ghana through innovative solutions. It is important to note that the MPP government has demonstrated policy innovation in tackling some of the most challenging issues in our country in the last few years. In education, for example, we implemented a free senior high school and free TVET policy despite the odds. And the records show now that Ghana has the second highest education quality in Africa after Tunisia. In health, we have digitalized records of patients, simplified the NHIS enrollment process, and extended its coverage. Government is working on the ambitious Agenda 111 project. In this most ambitious health infrastructural project, we aim to improve the well-being of Ghanaians, increase life expectancy, and employ about 72,000 workers. Today, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana also has the largest medical drone delivery service in the world, and our drones are delivering medicines to 2,700 hospitals and health facilities across the world. In industry, our industrial policy has brought in 12 major vehicle manufacturing multinational companies, including Nissan, Volkswagen, Toyota, Peugeot, Suzuki, Kia, Honda, and Hyundai. A successful policy rollout, which again is now being frustrated by delays in passing the law, the Customs Amendment Bill of 2024, which will offer zero-rate custom tariffs for the inputs for assembling vehicles. We have also introduced a gold for oil policy aimed at reducing the continued dependence on foreign exchange to finance imports of oil products. Again, we have sought to formalize the largely informal Ghanaian economy by introducing digital property addressing system, a digital property address system in Ghana. And so today, whereas when we came into office, we had a major challenge with addresses for homes in villages and everywhere, we opted to go digital and leverage on GPS technology. And so today, every house, every part of Ghana, everywhere has a digital address. And therefore, we have solved that problem that we inherited. That's not all. The fourth industrial revolution is now underway. It is changing our world. The technologies driving this transformation, such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, data analytics, cloud computing, and the Internet of Things, have disrupted entire industries. Through my digitalization drive, I have taken my knowledge of the issues and my readiness to guide Ghana, especially our young people, to take advantage of digital technologies to innovate and transform. And when we talk about digitalization, we digitalize not for the sake of digital, but for the sake of technology. We digitalize to solve economic problems. All the digitalization initiatives are specifically at solving problems. If you're a nation without a national ID database, that is not a luxury to digitalize and have one. You don't have an address system, it's not a luxury. You can digitalize and have that. If 4% of your population has tax identification numbers, 4%, and through digitalization, you can increase it in 1 year to 85%. That is not a luxury. That is very, very important for you to do. If you don't have financial inclusion, when you came in, 70% of the population had no access to bank accounts. 70%. Most of the population had mobile money accounts. And we said, well, how can we convert the mobile money accounts into bank accounts? Then came the idea of mobile money interoperability. We put the mobile companies and the banks on one platform, made it interoperable. And for today, you move money between bank accounts and Momo accounts and different locals. And Ghana has therefore now become the fastest growing mobile money market on the continent. And today, Ghana is the only country on the African continent with 100% access to financial inclusion. The country on the continent. Because, in 2017, I stated that when we did mobile money interoperability, you are going to get, every Ghanaian will practically be able to have a bank account. Many people didn't quite understand that. There were even jokes about how can every Ghanaian have a bank account. Today, because of mobile money interoperability, 100% access to financial inclusion, the mobile money account practically operates as a bank account. And when people today don't go to the banks, they just use their Momo accounts and move money across, and so a Momo account can get one anytime, so that's the essence in which our Momo account is a bit different. So we're digitalizing to solve problems, not for the luxury of digitalization. The list of innovative and bold solutions is endless, and it proves the point. I am committed to sustaining our positive growth metrics and building a resilient economic structure capable of delivering inclusive development. As leaders, you will agree with me that hardly can initiatives be 100% successful at the first instance. It is the commitment to the process and constant fine-tuning of them that brings transformation. The government I will lead, by the grace of God, from January 7, 2025, will relentlessly pursue innovative thinking and implement same to make a difference. When I win, by the grace of God, the upcoming 2024 national presidential elections. Just to mention a few things that I would like to do as president and how it relates to the business community. I know many of you in this room are eager to take advantage of the economic recovery to back up your enterprises. Yet you will also be struggling with the tax burden and huge penalties slapped on top of your tax arrears. Many of you are spending precious time that can be used productively going back and forth with revenue officers for disagreements on what may be owed. I want to relieve of that headache. It's elected out soon by introducing a radically new tax system beginning in 2025. Second, from all my interactions with taxpayers, what you want is a tax regime that is easy to understand, easy to comply with, easy to enforce, softer on the taxpayer, and certainly not dependent on discretion of the tax collector. I pledge to give you this. We were looking very seriously about what is the most efficient tax system globally. Which countries have the most competitive tax systems in the world? We found out that for the last 10 years, one country consistently has been number one in the world in terms of tax competitiveness, and that is Estonia. So I took my team and we went to Estonia to see what is it that we've been doing to be number one persistently for the last 10 years. I've got, not with the president, prime minister, finance people, tax authorities. We took a team, private sector, and all of that, the digital fintech companies and so on, and GIA and all of that. So look at what we did. And of course, Estonia used to be a Soviet country and then they transitioned. They just implemented a simple flat tax system. That is very easy for everybody to understand. If it's a 10%, it's a 10%. If it's a 20%, it's a 20%. But it's a flat tax system. We've studied it very carefully. And my government is going to introduce a flat tax system of a percentage of income for individuals and businesses with appropriate exemption thresholds set to protect the poor. We will simplify the corporate tax system. We will reform the value-added tax regime by merging all the levies into a single line item levy and treat the millage levy as part of input and output VAT. The new system should allow you to complete your tax return in minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, my government in coming up with this new tax system and considering what businesses have gone through in Ghana, crisis that we have faced, my government will provide a tax amnesty that is a complete exemption from the payment of prior taxes due to the waiving of all associated interest and penalties for individuals and businesses who failed to file in previous years. The intention, like all amnesties, is not to reward bad behavior, but to give the beneficiaries a fresh start. In return, my government will expect others to benefit from this most significant gesture to invest savings into creating jobs and growing their businesses. Also, everyone will be required to file a very simple tax return electronically. E-invoicing has been implemented by GRO, will be extended to all companies, and there will be no manual or paper filing of taxes. The sight of GRO officers stationed on factory or shop floors or offices will soon be history. Faceless assessments will provide transparency and accountability, enhance the fight against corruption and push for greater compliance. But let me emphasize that my government will be for business. I ask is for business to be with me. The Bawumia presidency will encourage and empower the private sector to finance, build, and rent or lease to own through government a vast number of public infrastructure, from schools to homes and from roads to equipment and vehicles. We recognize the primacy of government spending in enhancing growth, and my government will be deliberate in directing this significant government power to the private sector. By leveraging the purchasing power of government and channeling it towards the private sector, Ghanaian businesses will have a stable and increased pipeline of projects and revenues based on which they will create jobs and services. The government will facilitate structured long-term financing and payment options to support it. This will also lead to efficiency gains by cutting waste, corruption, and ensuring value for money in procurement. My focus is to find solutions and not to echo problems repeatedly. To achieve this, I will increase public-private partnerships as an important financing model for delivering public infrastructure projects, including schools, housing, water, and roads. I have also stated that I will cut 3% of GDP, that's about 30 billion Ghana cedis, from government expenditure and redirect it towards the private sector provision of public infrastructure and services, as earlier stated. For example, if the Ministry of Education wants to buy buses for schools, 700 schools, why should government go and take its hard-earned money and go and pay all their cash for 700 buses? We could give the private sector the opportunity to supply us 700 buses, and we will pay as we go over time. The lease payments will be made. That will save government a lot of cash flow, reduce the burden on the fiscal, and make sure all schools have buses. And we're applying that principle to every bit, dormitories and so on. Let the private sector take charge and provide those services. And that is the model I am going in to government with. So, in addition, we want to leverage government's purchasing power to stimulate industrial expansion and business growth with a strict Buy Ghana First policy, under which goods and services procured by the public sector will first be sourced from local producers or service providers. That is critical. I visited Vita Textile Star Limited in Joapong the other day, and just as part of my campaign rounds, I was told to pay a visit there, and I went, and they used to make a lot of uniforms for the schools and so on. But recently, I think rather than they making them, we are importing them, and that means people are out of a job. But the argument is that it's cheaper abroad, so we go. I don't buy that argument, because you have to factor in the opportunity cost, the cost of the unemployment and the pricing. Otherwise, you will make the wrong decision. And so the Buy Ghana First policy is going to be backed by law. And I believe that will help make sure that local industry is in business and jobs are going to be created for that purpose. We offer startup companies investment tax credits for the first 3 years of their operations will make the cost of electricity cheaper for industries by making commercial tariffs equal or lower than residential rates. That is very, very important to do so. I have also proposed that our dependence on oil and gas in the generation of electricity needs to be moved towards solar power. And so we are bringing in the first 4 years, 2,000 megawatts of solar. And that is very easy to do. And that will change the cost of production of power. And many businesses are not able to expand because it's very expensive to do so because of the cost of power. And we are aiming to bring down the cost of power by 50% at the current levels. And that will help businesses grow. So we'll look at the tariffs. We'll also look at the generation mix to do so. I am also proposing a more transparent and simple import duty regime at our ports. And so we are going to move towards a flat rate import duty regime at our port with the proviso that we should have lower port charges and duties than or equal to that of Lome, the port, our most nearest competing port. Lome should not be lower than Ghana. Right? We should be the same or we should be lower. And that is where we are going to go. Ladies and gentlemen, today we made history when I launched the first individualized credit scoring regime in Ghana. It's my credit score. This is an effort that I started almost 17 years ago when I was at the Bank of Ghana, trying to get credit scoring and therefore allowing a better assessment of risk by lenders. Today, we were able to finally get credit scoring so that a single number would tell the risk of a bank, of a borrower. We're going to use the credit scoring system as a country to enable the average Ghanaian to buy on credit. Buy now, pay small, small, as they say. This will increase domestic demand, increase production, and create jobs. We are also going to establish a fintech fund with seed capital of $100 million that has already been now committed by the Bank of Ghana to attract additional private sector funding to support Ghanaian startups, developing payments and financial services solutions. And we will provide venture funding and grant support for commercially viable tech projects for Ghanaian startups to drive innovation, foster high-tech entrepreneurship, create jobs, and grow the Ghanaian high-tech business. We will complete, very, very importantly, this is something that is so critical, complete the digitalization of the land titling and registration to allow owners of landed properties to be able to use their assets to raise capital for business growth and expansion. My vision, ladies and gentlemen, for Ghana is to implement bold, innovative solutions to ensure sustainable development. Beware of those seeking short-term mandates and promising quick fixes. They don't last. Sustainable development is not an alternative. It is our only option. In Ghana, 73% of the population is 0 to 35 years old. 73%. This means that about 7 out of 10 Ghanaians are children and young people. The present and future generations are counting on us for quality and more affordable education. They are counting on us for improved services, improved health services, peace and security, reliable food supply, a safe environment, clean water, and above all, sustainable jobs and economic prosperity. The MPP manifesto, which some have described as the greenest manifesto, makes clear my commitment to protecting our environment. My government will enhance the protection of our forests and biodiversity hotspots and restore our forests through deforestation programs. We will also usher in a golden age for small-scale mining and promote responsible and sustainable small-scale mining, including addressing illegal small-scale mining by making available proven reserves data by the Geological Survey Authority to small-scale miners so that we can direct them where to go and not allow them to dig indiscriminately. We'll make
Diamond partner in LA, Magdan Group.
Magdan, you are interfering, my speech. So we will simplify the mining licensing regime and also make sure we have financing schemes and a minerals development bank for the mining sector. This is expected to impact positively in improving the lives of particularly the estimated 3 million Ghanaian livelihoods that are dependent on small-scale mining. Ladies and gentlemen, my aim over the first 4 years is to ramp up economic activity across board to achieve and sustain at least an average 6% growth rate, which will be positive for job creation and enhance living standards of the Ghanaian worker. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to build a Ghana where we leverage technology, data, and systems for inclusive growth. I want us to apply digital technology, STEM, robotics, and artificial intelligence for the transformation of agriculture, healthcare, education, manufacturing, fintech, and public service delivery. We will train 1 million young people in all areas and levels of digital skills, including software developers, coders, and so on, to provide opportunities worldwide. I want to eliminate the digital divide by achieving close to 100% internet penetration by 2028. Already, we have increased internet penetration from 34% in 2016 to 70% today. I am determined not to let Ghana miss out on the fourth industrial revolution, as our continent did on the industrial revolution some centuries back. Ladies and gentlemen, without accountability, there will be no trust. And without trust, the economy will not thrive. Trust is the bedrock of any economy. And we must establish systems that foster this trust between businesses, the government, and the people of Ghana. My administration will continue to strengthen anti-corruption institutions and streamline government processes by making them simpler for you to start, operate, and expand your businesses without bureaucratic hurdles. We aim to make doing business in Ghana transparent, efficient, and attractive to local and international investors. And this is why I want to implement a government digital platform which is all based on blockchain technology, so that you can make sure that there is traceability of all transactions across government and nobody can come in and wipe out the data. And this is where we have to go, all of government on a digital blockchain platform, so that all transactions can be accounted for at any point in time in our history. Accountability is part of our strategy to build a resilient, business-friendly economy for growth and jobs. As indicated in our manifesto, we will make better use of public policy and resources to finance businesses, growth, and jobs by ensuring exchange rate stability as well. To do this, we'll use our tried and tested gold purchase program to stabilize the currency, to give businesses and industries predictability in planning and ensure stability in input and prices. They will also plan to reduce the minerals export tax to 1% to discourage gold smuggling and support the Bank of Ghana's gold purchase program. Furthermore, we will improve transparency in the distribution of public monies by adopting digital solutions and open data platforms, ensuring that all citizens are aware of the efficient and responsible use of their hard-earned money. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, let me note that Ghana is at a crossroads of a unique opportunity. Our economic situation after such a major global shock, is improving in line with targets. We have what it takes to build an even stronger and a more robust, creative, and open economy. As you can see from my submission so far, every theme mentioned is followed by concrete steps and actions to achieve results. In creating a business-friendly economy, we will take bold and pragmatic actions. I intend to be in very regular consultation with the CEO network so that we can hear from you, because what I've known for a long time is that the people who are in the business community know it better than the politicians. They know the issues that affect them better than the politicians. So for us as politicians, the easiest thing to do is to listen. Is to listen to the issues that are affecting the private sector and then take decisions that address those issues. So I am going to have a very close relationship with the CEO network, and we will solve a lot of the problems that are really burdening you. My goal is to remove the burdens from the private sector. You've seen what I've done in the digital space, which is one of the areas I've focused on. Virtually every digital initiative, we have prevented government from doing it. We're giving it to the private sector. The digitalization initiatives are handled by the private sector because, as I said earlier today when we were launching the credit system, the incentives are different. For the private sector, if a system works, they make money. For the government sector, if the system does not work, they make money. So the incentive structure is a bit warped. So I want the private sector to get the systems to work so that they can make money and we can get the services and the economy will improve. So I'm going to work very, very closely with the private sector for us to do a lot. Our proposed solutions, my proposed solutions, are best for the country, I believe, especially when the difference between the two choices confronting us as a people is undeniably vast, from our respective track records to our vision and programs. Moreover, ladies and gentlemen, 4 years from today, you can bring me back to stand before you and render an account to you on how far we have gone in fulfilling this ambitious promise that I will make to the Ghanaian people today. You know I will be back 4 years today if you vote for me, because I have to run for another election. And so I'll make sure I will fulfill the promises that I make it to you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is possible to reignite the business community through continuous innovation, enhanced accountability, and commitment to sustainable development if we put our minds to it and work hard at it. Everyone has a role to play. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, I've demonstrated my selflessness and personal integrity through public service. I have served with utmost sincerity, passion, and honesty. I have never asked what is in it for me. All the private sector who have worked with me know that about me. I will never ask, and I've never asked, and I will never ask what is in it for me. I ask what is in it for Ghana, and that is what I'm going to do. I humbly ask for your support so that together we can work to transform our country and deliver prosperity to our citizens. I offer myself in your service as your selfless leader, offering bold solutions, innovative solutions for jobs and business. And I'm counting on your support for this. Invest your trust in me. I will not let you down. I know of the challenges that you have been through. It is what has kept me awake, and how to help you back is what keeps me away. This is my commitment to you, and I shall account for every pledge I've made to you today. Thank the choice ultimately, however, it's yours. And please choose wisely. Thank you for your kind attention. God bless you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you so much. As you all know, I have a very busy schedule, and I yet have another engagement tonight. So I'm going to be begging leave as quickly as possible so that I can attend to that engagement. But I know that, knowing Ernest, he may have one or two things to say before I leave. But I want to thank you all very, very, very much. Tomorrow I return to the campaign trail. Thank you.
Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Mr. Ernest Ugafeju, who is the CEO of the CEO Network, will make a special presentation to His Excellency. And respectfully, I would like to ask all the members of the top table to join us here. And of course, joining us is Professor Ernest Kofi Abochi, who is the Dean of the UPSA Law School. Also, all the speaker panelists, all of our panelists here, led by our chairperson, Mr. David Ofosudote. Added to all of this is appending signatures to a social contract, which will reiterate the commitment to peace, the commitment to further deepening our democracy, and the commitment to fairness, and the push for free and fair election on December 7, 2024.
It's a copy of the hello. On behalf of the Chief Executives Network, we have signed a social contract today with 7 commitments and 2 outcomes as we become the Business Council of Ghana to help anyone who emerges as the President of Ghana. I believe this is a great commitment. On behalf of the CEO Network, we also want to present this thank you to the Vice President of Ghana.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.